Life's a binge. Right?
Yep. I made sure it was focused.
Cool.
And, yeah.
Sounds like fan fuck you.
It's not his fault. That's not his fault.
We're only doing 100 things. It's all good.
What's up, dude?
Not much, man. Not much.
It's a time.
It is time. You know why? How you know? This is how you know.
For the video.
So...
Life's a binge video.
It is good. I love that on both sides there.
Tony says that he wants one of these.
I have a few people on some.
I'll figure out a price. Probably going to be around $15 to $20 if you do want one for real. Which I feel is a decent price. That way we totally make a little bit of money and everyone gets what they want to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the coolest.
It is pretty sweet. It is pretty sweet.
They're the coolest.
I match my mug like a lot today.
I do not.
I got shorts and my white. Yeah. Anyway, I'd match. Anyway,
welcome
enough
everybody.
Of that.
Yep. So on our midweek special this week, we're going to talk about a movie that I love. I love this movie.
It's a good flick.
Dazed and Confused.
Yes.
Now it's just recently been re-added to streaming on Netflix.
You can view it on Netflix.
And so we were going to do a different film, but today as I was flipping through, it was like, oh yeah, Dazed and Confused is on.
Yeah.
And man, I love this movie. Now, did you see this movie in the theater? No.
This movie came out in 1993.
Okay.
So I was 10 years old.
All right.
So that's why I didn't see this in movie theaters.
Yeah, I guess
it's maybe a little inappropriate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I saw it in the theater either.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those ones that did okay in the theater, but it got rented and, Office Space or something else. It got rented a lot.
Passed around.
Yep.
Yeah.
And man, I love this movie from the moment I saw it. It's a Richard Linklater film, and he's done... This is probably his biggest movie at that time.
Yeah.
It was his biggest, and probably still
it's probably
is.
His most famous one.
Yeah. He had I don't know if Slacker... Did he do Slacker? But anyway, it's a story about a small Texas town in 1976, the last day of school.
Right.
And it basically is just one day in the life of this town.
Yeah. And the juniors becoming seniors and the 8th graders becoming freshmen.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yep. Which I guess that's not how I've ever done it at school. But this is clearly it's a tradition.
It's a small it makes it seem like it's a small town. Everyone knows everyone. Yep. And yeah.
But for me, when I watched this movie, I'd never lived in Texas, but I did live in Somerville, South Carolina for 5 years.
Okay.
And when I saw this movie, it so strongly spoke to the town of Somerville and that time, because I moved to Somerville in 1976, so I lived there from 76 to 81. All the music that's being played is just was in my childhood.
Now it would be listed as classic rock, but it's got like Zeppelin, AC/DC, and all those guys. Yeah.
Yep, a lot of Aerosmith.
Pink Floyd, I think, is in there a little bit. Yeah,
but oh man, the cast is phenomenal.
Yep.
Like if you look at the cast, if you've ever seen the movie The Messenger about Joan of Arc.
Oh yeah.
Mila Jovovich is in it as a student.
She has like 2 lines, but she just is always around in the background, playing the guitar. And
especially when you see her just kill it in The Messenger, she's fantastic. Yeah. She's just got this little tiny part. Matthew McConaughey is if it's not his very first role, it's one of his very first roles.
It's where All Right came from.
Yes.
And now that's like his thing.
Yes. And apparently he came up with that,
Yeah.
ad-libbing scenes.
All right.
And, but the story just tells one day, and it focuses on several different characters.
Yep.
And the conversations and such that they capture, it really moves the story along, even though nothing really happens. But it's a really fascinating look at these characters, at this day, who they are, where they are. Which is small town America,
small town USA,
and young adults who are starting to come into their own.
Well, and that's exactly what I was going to say. It's a very much a I wouldn't necessarily say coming of age story. Mm-hmm. Because nothing really happens, like you just said, but it's very much kind of that feel where it's the 8th graders are becoming the freshmen and they have to go through the hazing and then by the end of the night, like the main kid or the main young kid or whatever is like goes home and his mom like pats him. She's like, "This is your one get out of jail free card." She can tell he's drunk and all this stuff, and he's just like, "Yeah, whatever." And so all this stuff where it's like, we texted you not to come inside.
It's all good.
Here he is anyway. I'm just messing with you. No, I'm just kidding. So that whole process where it's like, learning where the rules are and where you can cross the line and get away with it kind of with your parents. And whereas the seniors just don't care about anything.
Right.
Yeah. They're going around and beating the kids in the butt.
Can't wait to do their share of the hazing, to dish it out like they got it when they were freshmen.
Right.
So like they've been waiting their entire life. And Ben Affleck plays a part in this movie, and he's great. He plays a band, and he's just a jerk.
Total jerk.
He failed his senior year, and so this is his second year of whipping kids with his paddle, and he's great at it. He's a supreme jerk in it. But there's an interesting little storyline in it that the football players...
Right. They have to sign the waiver.
There's a pledge that the team wants them to sign. And the pledge says that they will not smoke pot, they won't drink, they won't have sex.
Basically, they won't do anything bad.
Right. Yeah, that they're going to line up and respect their team.
Right.
And it's,
it's valid.
It is. Right. It is. And I just think that little give and take of control of society and the man and all that stuff kind of comes into play where they're trying to tell you what to do. And Matthew McConaughey, of course, gives a speech at the end, man. They're always doing one thing or the other, man. If it's not this, it's going to be they're going to teach you how to dress and blah, blah. And so this little commentary in there. That's great.
It is very valid, though. It's funny because, like, now they wouldn't make you sign the paper. It's just, common sense or common knowledge. Right. Like, if you're going to be on the high school football team, you're not going to show up drunk and you're not going to smoke weed, all these things. Whereas back in, 76 when it takes place, I think you had to be 18 to buy beer. And so, like, there's a big party. Texas. There's a big party where they're all drinking beer and they have a bunch of kegs and stuff. And so it's like, it's not showing like teenage drinking and debauchery where it kind of is, but it's not like as bad as it might look if you're looking at it now, because back then, like, they could literally just buy the beer. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not as bad as it sounds. But so that's why it's a big thing where they had to sign the paper saying don't do it because it was so accessible.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't happen still, if that something along those lines still happen in certain like regions of the country where they want to.
Oh yeah. I mean, I had high school parties. And I didn't. It was never.
You didn't have any
never like this where it was
pledges
like,
where.
Oh no, nothing like that.
I could imagine that these type of pledges probably in certain pockets
exist.
Of the country still exist.
Yeah.
Now there's I remember watching this movie and the girl I was dating at the time. You kind of get to know each other, and I was like, the one part of this movie that like really like resonated with me. Now I don't know if there's anything that comes to mind.
With you?
With me, yeah. Especially a much younger me, but
I don't know where you're going.
So they have a couple of the characters who were kind of the brainiac kids,
right? Anthony Rapp is one of the kids, the like blonde kid,
the blonde guy, and then
he's like
I thought it was Sarah Silverman's brother, but it's not. It's Adam Goldberg.
Yes, Adam Goldberg
who plays the other.
He's the other guy.
Who has the freaking great line where he's like, "I just don't know if I want to be a public defendant, and work with these people who I just don't like."
I hate.
And I was like, and I just questioning the whole thing, and blah 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 blah. And they go, "What do you want to do?" I want to dance.
Yeah.
It's just so great, so great.
And he's the guy that gets in the fight at the party. Yeah,
right. Yeah. And so that was the part that for me that like just resonated the most. Yeah, for sure.
This getting ragged on and then like, oh, I just want to punch him so bad.
Well, yeah,
and then not doing anything.
No, more so the idea that he is clearly. I mean, they are talking about things and thinking about things at a higher level than most of the other kids.
Correct.
And so he's acknowledging this whole idea of, this hierarchy of violence that he's not a player in, and then you either are or you aren't, and if you are, you're screwed, and if you aren't, you're screwed because you'll probably get beat up.
Yeah.
And so, but he wanted to just step out of that for this one moment and have his time against this, macho male monkey,
like
dominant
his
male.
reasoning where he's like, we're at a big social gathering. These things get broken up pretty quick. I can get like 1 or 2 punches in and just play defense.
Yeah, no one wants to disturb the herd. Yeah, so it's like, of course they're going to break it up. Yeah. And so he punches the guy, and then he ends up getting beat up, pretty good, and and it's real traumatic for him. And that's the thing too. He plays it very well. Like just the shock of that type of that when you're not used to that. It's a shocking thing, and so he plays that really well. But it's cool, it's cool at the end, because they're like saying bye. It's like, all right, Ollie, Pink Floyd. There's a character named Pink Floyd who's kind of one of the main characters.
He's the star quarterback, He's the rebel who's not signing the paper because he likes to have fun. And,
right. Yeah, he hangs out with the stoner kids and the jocks. And he's real nice because he's nice to the freshmen. The freshmen.
He's basically like he's the good guy.
He's the good guy. He's definitely, he's the hero.
Well-liked by everybody. Yeah.
And Matthew McConaughey is the creepy. They don't really say how old he is.
No.
Or maybe they do, but I don't.
They don't say how old he is.
But he's graduated.
Like, that guy graduated when we were 3 or whatever.
Right, yeah. But he loves to hang out
right
at the same old place. Yeah. And there was these places, I swear, in Somerville, like these exact same type of places where you could shoot
the
pool.
Burger joint and stuff,
Yeah, or play pinball, at this place. And then you'd hang out in the parking lot. And... it was super similar.
Small town USA, man.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that my brother would think the same thing. Yeah. He probably has seen it, but
probably, yeah.
But I love this movie.
There's a lot of things going on in the movie, so it's definitely worth, if you haven't seen it in a while, watch it again with like older eyes or whatever, however you want to see it. But then. Even when you do watch, you have to watch it a couple times because there's so many different stories and so many different things. Like especially at the party when they're like bouncing back between like everyone's different conversations and they're all going on at once. And like, what's this? I forget what the stoner guy's like rambling off about.
Oh, he's about George Washington.
Yeah.
George Washington, he smoked weed, man.
Exactly. He's going off on that.
Man was a good woman, and that woman was Martha Washington. And every day when he got home, he had a fat bowl waiting for him. But he was also like saying like. George Washington was he was in a cult, man, and they were all into aliens.
Right.
And I was doing something while that line happened, and I was like, God, I want to look that up because there's probably some kind of like
probably some
truth to that
there somewhere.
Or at least some smoke somewhere,
right,
where you could like look that up. But
so that scene where he's going off about that is right when the scene where the guy's talking about like not fitting into society and like wanted to like fight back and like, all this stuff. And then you see the quarterback like talking to his jock friends about how he's not going to sign the paper. And it's all this stuff happening at one time where you're like, what? Yeah. And like the way that it's shot and the way that they switch between the dialogue is very kind of brilliant in that it breaks up. It's not trying to hammer the nail on the head too hard.
On any of them, yeah.
Because on this one, he's talking about, like, I'm not going to sign the paper. And then on this one, he's talking about how George Washington had a big bowl of marijuana that Martha picked out of the garden for it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's very well balanced, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
The movie washes over you,
right?
In a real pleasant way, and when it's over, you're like, yeah. And the day ends, the sun comes up, and they kind of finish the story, and the priorities of the day are to go get Aerosmith tickets.
Yeah, and the quarterback like tells the coach like, I'm not signing your paper.
He's like, I might play football,
but I'm not signing
I'll
this.
Never sign this.
And, like, throws it in his face, and that's when he says like. We're going to get Aerosmith.
And Matthew McConaughey's LIVIN, man. Start living. Yeah.
LIVIN. And that's when the freshman kid goes home and his mom is there and she's like, this is, your sister told me what was going on, but this is your one get out of jail free card. And that's kind of how like my parents were too. It was like, like, don't screw up, stay safe, come home at a reasonable time, and, like, you're good.
I would think that coming home at sunbreak, without calling...
But she knew what was going on.
It was the day. But still, part of it. And you know what's also interesting is they don't ever imply anything about a father. So they sort of subtly imply that it's a single parent house. Like, mom never let me get away with that. She doesn't say mom or dad. The sister doesn't when they're talking. But it's a great little just slice. You get a little bit of insight for each of these little characters, each little story through this storytelling. It's really well done.
Yeah, it's a cool little thing. So if you haven't seen it or if you haven't seen it at all, check it out. Or if you haven't seen it in a while, I recommend watching it again.
Yep, it's streaming now, so it's good opportunity.
And you'll probably get something out of it that you didn't get before. So that's the midweek this week. This has been Life's a Binge. I'm Jared.
I'm BJ.
And
we'll see you on the couch.